Hey, beautiful mama. Welcome to the Radiant Mom Rising podcast, where we believe you were never meant to just survive. You were born to shine. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, life coach, mama three, and your biggest cheerleader in creating a life and business you love. Each week, we dive into real conversations about mindset, motherhood, healing, and purpose, helping you break free from overwhelm, rediscover your worth, and rise into the confident, radiant woman you were meant to be. Because when moms rise, the world rises with us. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's get ready to rise together.
Hello and welcome back. I'm excited to be here today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to get started and let our guest introduce herself, and so we can get into this conversation. Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sounds great. Thank you, Mary. So my name is Jeimi Gao. I am a mom of two. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. I'm based out of New York. Before this current sort of startup stint, I worked in strategy consulting for about 10 years. And now I am the founder of Nori, which is a new kind of support network that I'm building for moms. And yeah, happy to talk about the startup life, the mom life,
Yes,
and anything in between.
yes, I love it because I was reading your story a little bit and I'm excited to share that because I feel like this is the real talk that we have on this show and we're very similar in the journey. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your own personal experience from going to doing the work that you did in the corporate to starting your own business, especially as a mom.
Yeah, I consulting was the only job that I've ever had. I only ever worked for one company since graduating college. So I've obviously have learned a lot from my previous role and have had some really great experiences in that role. But I think things have just changed a lot since I had children. And I think that moment of clarity came from the 6-month sabbatical that I took during my time at the consulting firm, 2 years after my first was born. So I took 6 months off and I was really burnt out and I wanted to basically figure out, who am I now? What do I want to do? And how do I make this all work again? So I was trying desperately to make it work with the job that I had and now the family obligations that I have. And, for myself, like my own sort of career, professional ambitions, still trying to figure out how to make it all work out. So I think in that 6 month period, I really dug into sort of myself, right? Like did a lot of self exploration and realized, maybe it won't work this way. Maybe there's other paths that I could look into and take and have that work out. And I think it really opened my eyes during that time.
And this is when you had just the one
Just
kid.
one.
Yeah, I mean, see, it's so funny though. Like I hear that a lot. When it's different when you've been doing something for so long, you don't really have that obligation with the kids. Like it changes everything becoming a mom, not in just the sense of like the obligations that come with having the responsibilities of having children, but even as much as like who we become and like how much we want to become present and do so much more for our kids. And so it's awesome that you even had the opportunity to have that 6 months
Right.
because some people have to keep going. Some people don't get that. And especially in the US, you don't get a lot of
Right.
time at home with the kids. So it's like, it's a blessing that you
Yeah.
were able to do that. So tell us a little bit about when you got to the point of like realizing you already realized you kind of worked on yourself. Where did it go from actually realizing these things to you taking action and actually starting your own business?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's still, I think after that period, it still took me 2 years
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Because I had my second child. So when I went back after the 6 month, I found I was pregnant and then I stayed for another year, and then took mat leave and then left shortly after that. So during that time, I was honestly like still trying to figure out if there is a path for me in my old job. Even after I went back after my second mat leave, I was trying to figure out, can I just make this work? While all at the same time, I was already exploring other paths, right? So I was looking at potentially going back to school and getting like a master's in social work or something that would enable me to do like therapy work, because I really do believe in that. And
Mhm.
I looked into the coaching path as well. I know you're a coach yourself, so there's definitely that. And I talked to a lot of coaches as well about that. And then I was also doing a bunch of customer sort of discovery interviews at the time on an idea that I had. At first, it was all about like postpartum. So like a postpartum center idea. So I did all of that exploration all at the same time. And I think it was a very confusing time of my life where I could
Yeah.
theoretically take any one of those paths and ran with that and make it work. But I think ultimately it just assessing things from all the data and all the conversations I've had, to where my heart was really pulling me to, on what I should do next. I think that ultimately helped me make the decision to
Yeah.
go ahead and build Nori.
Oh, I love that. And that's kind of what it's all about. It's for anyone listening. Like when you're first really getting started, like it's there's so much research and so much allowing yourself, like you say, to have just conversations. Like it took me a while in my when I first got started to even narrow down to moms. Like it took me, meeting with people and making connections and asking myself all these questions, working with coaches, exploring like what are my interests, what are my passions, what resonates with me, doing a lot of the self work on myself eventually. But because I think at the beginning I was so like, sometimes you get pulled into the whole like you're just ready for this to work, and so you like focus so much on like what do I do, like well, let me learn all the business stuff, and you forget about like the
Yeah,
beliefs and the mindset and the allowing yourself the time to evolve, because you don't always know your calling per se. It's like a lot of us have like this calling, but we're not exactly sure what that might look like. And it isn't until you go through that kind of messy area of like meeting people, talking, and figuring it out before you really create it and make that decision in the end. And then once you do, you're right, you can just take off with that and you become more and more confident, because then you really believe in what you're offering. You start believing in who you are and who you're becoming
yeah.
within that business idea. So that's really beautiful, and I'm so glad you created something like that. So tell us a little bit about Nori and what that's been like for you creating that, what's your vision behind it and all that when it comes to Nori.
Yeah. So when I first started in November 2024, I started with a Google spreadsheet. I started with the idea of mom mentorship, actually. So it was initially called a mom mentorship platform. I actually recently changed it.
Okay.
And I changed it a couple times recently.
Hey,
So
part of it.
that's just go to tell you that it's still very much evolving. So the mom mentorship piece, I think, came from, again, like from other ideas that I was exploring around postpartum. I really believed in, that moms really need the support postpartum, and we're not getting what we need right now in the North American society. So I started with, the postpartum center idea, pivoted to another idea before I landed on a mom mentorship piece. So what this means is it's one-on-one conversations, peer to peer. So you would be talking to another mom and it would be topic based. So rather than matching you with a mom with a similar profile and Bumble BFF style. This would be a little bit more intentional in the sense of you would reach out to a mentor who has experience in, I don't know, breastfeeding with mastitis. I have mastered mastitis 3 times myself during my first postpartum period. Although I'm not a lactation consultant, have tried a lot of different things. And I'm sure all the moms have, all of these experiences that are unique to themselves that they can share their experience with someone else and share the resources that they found helpful, useful with others in a conversation, rather than, posting on social media and trying to promote yourself and do all of these things to get your content discovered. You yourself, with your knowledge, is the best content. So I started with that idea of, moms can find each other on Nori and with a profile with a set of topics that they're willing to share with each other, and they can just reach out and chat one-on-one. And so that I started that with a Google spreadsheet, like I mentioned, without any sort of tech platform. People would find each other. It's like a roll of data, right? That's like your profile. And you would like look at if you have something that you in mind that you need help with, you would look at the database and say, oh, like I want to talk to this person. And, then I would connect them sort of manually. So that manual process ran for about 8 months. And in the meantime, I was building or like the tech platform, vibe coding it myself. So I
Yeah.
actually vibe coded pretty much 90% of Nori.
Nice.
Um, and, ran into some issues, got help, and kept going and eventually launched the platform in October last year.
Yay, that's exciting. I mean, all that hard work, and it's beautiful what you're creating because I believe in that too. It's one of the reasons why I do my podcast is because I believe in having how powerful conversations can be because it helps us not feel so alone and realizing like, you know what, you're not the only one who's going through burnout or overwhelm or dealing with postpartum. Like that was a huge thing that I felt so alone with when I was going through it myself personally. And of all the times of my life, I decided to start a business around that time. And let me tell you, that was not easy at all. It was actually mind blowing. But at the same time, looking back, I'm grateful because if I didn't get started, I wouldn't be where I'm at today and evolving and who I'm becoming more and more. But that's why I'm doing this too, because I've learned so much. And like you say, whether you are licensed or an expert, I think we fail to realize how much expertise we have with just our experiences in life. And not everyone has to always go and find someone who's got a college, because sometimes people can have a college background all they want, but they have absolutely zero experience in a specific
Yeah.
area that you need. And that matters to me. I think that matters to a lot more people than we realize. And especially as moms, like we want people who can understand. Like I have a very unique situation, as I was telling you earlier about like, having the older kid and then the younger kids.
Mhm.
Somebody who has just older kids may not really be able to always relate to like what it feels like to have both. Here I have a little bit of
Yeah.
I was a kid raising a kid, and then also I'm now this mature person raising two other kids in a beautiful different way that I've seen that just warms my heart that I've been able to grow in that way, and then now I get to parent differently, although I still see how beautiful my son came out regardless. So, I think that's amazing what you're creating, what you're building here, and just creating a space where we can find each other and connect. Building relationships is everything. And so within this platform, do you guys offer, I think I saw there's more to it than just one-on-one mentorship, isn't there? There's like also
Yeah.
events. So tell us a little bit about that. Like what kind of events do you host in that?
Yeah, no, so it's evolved. That's
Yeah.
why I recently changed it to a support network for moms because it's no longer just the one-on-one mentorship piece. So during that sort of Google Sheets era, I was also experimenting with group circles, like a consistent group of women who come together and on a monthly basis and basically talk about anything that's happening in their lives. Usually they're in a similar life stage or they're interested in a similar topic. So I had them, choose the topic that they want, and they could choose like early motherhood. So they have kids under two. They might have a very similar experience versus someone who's just returning to work and have a demanding job and wants to figure out how to balance work and life. That's the phase that I was in myself. And, or, there's people who want to figure out, a career pause and what it's like to be a stay-at-home mom, and how do you figure out that identity shift, and so there's like different topics and different stages I think people are in, and they come together in a very small group. It's 5 to 6 women in each group, and they talk about the topic or the things that are happening. And really, I think one thing you were saying about conversation, it's sometimes not even just like the conversation, it's like verbalizing your thoughts, right?
Oh,
Like
right.
the power of just saying it out loud versus keeping it in your head and keep thinking about it and becoming more anxious over it
Yeah.
and spiraling in that state. Just having a place where you can verbalize is so important.
Yeah.
So this provides that kind of space. So now there's 5 group circles that I'm hosting for the Nori members, but there are also like small group discussions that I host that are
Mhm.
more like one-time based, on a particular topic, and anyone could join. It doesn't have to be Nori members. It could be, people who are not members but are moms and are interested in that particular topic. So I've hosted things on raising neurodivergent children and being a one and done mom. Like,
Yeah.
surprisingly, people who have those experiences have nowhere to go to talk about them, right? Like, in
Yeah.
the one and done conversation, there was someone who told us about why she's one and done, like how she came to that conclusion, and the how difficult it was for her to say. They said, like, you're in your mind that you're done, but your heart is not, right? So
Mm.
like having those kind of conversations, she's like,
Yeah.
I've never said this anywhere else. I've never talked to
Oh,
anybody
that's so
about,
sweet.
the things that I'm sharing here, because there's no
Yeah.
intentional space that's created for women.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And that's, oh my God, and that's a beautiful thing to create. It's something I'm working on as well because I feel like I resonate so much with moms, especially those who are trying to find themselves again within being moms, and but also willing to take action, because to me that's what I really want to motivate and inspire people to do. It's like regardless of how chaotic or crazy life may seem, like taking action is everything. I don't care how small it is. Like baby steps can lead to such big outcomes, and every little bit of that journey is molding you and preparing you for what you're meant for. So if we don't get started, then you're just gonna look back and be like, look how far I could be. And I just don't want moms to live in that kind of regret. And I feel for it because I've been there. I'm in it and I get it. How challenging and how easy it is to sometimes want to be like, is it really worth it? And then also how exciting and thrilling it is when you see the other side of it, of like, oh my God, all my hard work, like all this stuff is starting to finally unfold. And it's like, wow, I see it. Like I see my vision coming to light. And I'm creating something very similar on my own journey for moms when it comes to identity and mindset work, because when I look back at my journey of entrepreneurship, the one thing I really do wish that I knew from the get-go was truly how crucial the mindset and identity work is before while doing all the things. It's like some people might kind of touched on it, but nobody really truly taught us about rediscovering ourselves, nervous system regulation, all these things that are so crucial in us building that awareness and really working on our beliefs. Like learning our beliefs is so powerful in itself, and when and how we're showing up. And that's one of the things I'm very passionate about teaching moms that I work with, is that first and foremost as we're working through the strategy and the goals. So I think, like, again, what you're creating is beautiful, and giving moms these different spaces depending on their situation where they can come and have a voice and share their stories and also learn from other people who have similar experiences. And it's another reason why I love this podcast, because I get to have these different types of situations with moms and give them a platform where they get to share their story and they get to reach someone out there who may need to hear this and be like, oh my goodness, this is going to light me up and make me want to go out there and start my own. and my own community, might find my own tribe, whatever it is. And I'm just very passionate
Yeah.
about creating that.
Yeah. No, this action piece that you mentioned, like I 100% agree with that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Like you just have to do something. Like I think
Yes, yes.
a lot of the times, like we think,
Mhm.
so deeply, and you can analyze all day and you can plan all day, you can think all day, but if you don't take action, nothing will happen.
Exactly, exactly. And what would you say from looking back for where you are today and when you first started? Like, what's something that you two kind of wish you knew back then that probably would have saved you a little bit of like time or headache?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I think there's a lot of things that right? I have a business background. I went to business school, and so I would say I know business and I kind of know sort of the common pitfalls of starting a business, right?
Mhm.
And one of the things they tell you is don't go with a solution, like go solve a problem and then build a solution around it, and they also say like don't offer things for free. Like you have to make people pay for them. And I didn't take any of those advice. And I don't know. I think at this point I can't say for sure that I should have taken those advice, but I do see the merit in those advice now, right? And I'm trying to figure out, okay, like how do I pivot, or how do I now take some elements of that and build into the business? So while, and I think that's the same with moms as well, right? You hear the expert advice, but then you do the thing that you feel is right,
Mhm.
and then you adjust for it, right? I guess I'm not trying to say, listen to the experts or listen. I think what I believe deeply in that is one of the core philosophies of Nori is I want moms to trust themselves, and I want them to trust their own
Yeah.
intuition and their own voice, and what they think is right for their family and their kids and themselves,
Yep.
rather than listening to all the experts that are out there and saying, hey, you should do this and you should do that. And it gets
Mhm.
really confusing. And it, I think one of the ways to listen to yourself, and one of the downfalls, is that some things might not work out, and that's okay. I think you have to just listen to yourself and keep adjusting, and knowing where you should go next, and eventually I think it'll work out. But that is a path for you to figure out yourself.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many resources and so much information out there. And that's the one thing I love is that's part of that work is like the more grounded you are in who you are and your vision and what you're doing, the more you listen to yourself, you can hear that intuition louder than it normally is. Usually it's like a whisper, right? And we ignore it so many times because there's that part of us that desperately wants it to work, right? So therefore we're just like, okay, I want this to work so bad that I'm willing to just take this chance. But sometimes that there's that voice is saying this isn't the right one. And then we don't listen to it. And then we get into something that we were like, I should have listened to myself. And that you're right. That is that work right there with moms. It's like really allowing yourself to like be open to hear this. There's so much out there that's available, but at the same time, like you say, it can be very overwhelming if you feel like you have to do all the things. Like, no, you get to decide at the end of the
Yeah,
day, like, how do I
exactly.
want to parent? Like, how do I want to run my business? Like, I get what you were saying earlier about the whole value and the free stuff because I want to say to anyone out there, like, I have seen both work.
Hmm.
Completely both work. So please don't think that it's just one way or the other. Like this is one another reason why I love people finding their own unique paths because I see people who are millionaires, extremely successful, and they started out offering free value. They had free workshops or they had a free freebie, a lead magnet, what you call it. And so it's like really, and then, finding out what works for you. But it's like at the end of the day, there's some people who right off the bat, they'll be the same way. Be like, no, you're going to pay for the value that I give. And that's okay. Like everyone's kind of
Yeah.
in their own place in the beginning because I think I see that a lot. I don't know if you struggled with this, but it's like pricing. Pricing is always something I see so much with business, especially when you're new, is like figuring out, well, what do I price is that? Because you in
Right.
your mind, you're like, well, I'm just getting started. I don't have the evidence, I don't have the evidence behind me yet to prove that I know what I'm doing. And
Right.
that alone can cause a lot of people to sit there and get stuck on even
Right.
offering anything because
Yeah.
they're like, yeah. So I mean, I think all of us go through that, and that is totally okay. That imposter syndrome is a real thing. And that's actually, that to me, I would almost say get excited about it because if you're feeling that, if you're going through that, that just means that you are on the right path because that you would not feel that way unless you were putting yourself out there and you
Yeah.
were doing the things. And this is part of the process, and it's only going to help you. Strengthen you and how you also help other people because people want people who get it. Like you don't want someone who just had it practically handed to them. How are they really going to understand your situation and what you're feeling and what you're
Yeah.
going through rather than somebody who's like, I'm there, I get it.
No, totally. And I want to mention like Nori is free right now. It's free for all community members who are also offering to be mentors. So everybody who joins Nori are mentors. And they are mentees too. Like when they reach out to someone, they are the mentee, right? But there is a mentor opt-out model. Like there's a subscription that you pay if you want to opt out of being a mentor. And I think what I wanted to build is something that is not traditional in the sense of, like everything right now is a subscription. And I do believe in, the power of mentoring as well. Like when you're giving something back, there's something
Oh,
that you're
yes.
getting out of it as well. So I want people to be community members, but if they don't want to, they're they want to just take from the community, then they can pay for the platform. So, that is a model that I feel like I can stand behind, and I think, makes sense for this kind of platform. But
Love that.
I don't know. It's still too early to tell whether or not that's going to work.
And there you go. And that's the beauty of navigating this. And that's the beauty of like of it all. You put it out there and as it grows, as you evolve, as you start seeing and getting feedback too. I mean, you don't know until people are willing to come and show up and help provide that feedback. And sometimes that can be a very frustrating stage to be in. It's like
Yeah.
getting people to show up to your stuff to be like, I'm putting this out there to help and I'm ready for people to show up so that I can learn and grow from that even so I ensure that I'm providing you with the utmost value and everything that I know you need to help you to make sure that you get on your journey and get the results that you're looking for. So that, like I said, this is actually quite a great example of like navigating true business because you put something out there and then as it evolves, as it grows, as you start getting members, getting that feedback, then that's where your prices increase and the value increases and you shift too of like how
Yeah.
you want to structure it because now you've got all these more people coming in and more people resonating in different ways. So now they have different roles they can play. There's different ways that you can go about it and change things down the road as you scale it. And I'm excited for you. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. And right now, if you're listening to this, it's free. Go join, go be part of something and check it out. Or like I said, pay. And it's a very low fee too, to at least pay just to help support a small business and a mom while also getting something back, that's very valuable and powerful for you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of value just being in a community as well. And I think I underestimated that when I was in the early days of being a mom, right? Like
Yeah.
I didn't I think one thing is I didn't have any friends who were moms, so I didn't know where to go in the first place. But at the same time, if there was a community that I could be a part of, that I could be a mentor, but also find the help that I need, like I would have loved that, you know.
Yes. Oh my
So
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, so to some extent, I'm building Nori for myself and for the people who are like me, who, I needed that kind of community and support, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of people out there who also need that as well.
Yeah. I mean, and I completely relate to that, Jamie, because that's me too. Like, the more I've built my business, I realized like I was doing a lot of this for myself in the sense that like I wish I had this when I was going through these things. Like, this is what I had. And a lot of times you'll find that on your journey. That's part of our calling, I feel like, is that we're creating something for ourselves, like it's a mirror but it also like you see the benefits and the value because it is something that you could have used to strengthen you, to navigate things, to help you through hard times. Because I was the same. Now, the sad part with me is that I actually did have people in my life who had kids, and I still didn't even have visitors or them including me. And I felt even more alone in that journey because I was like, I mean, I got kids. Like, why can't we why can't we have like date for, chances to get our kids together and play and have play dates and things like that. And it was really hurtful because I'm realizing on this journey too, as you evolve or you make these choices, like you start seeing and learning more about what's in alignment to this newer version that you're becoming. And that can be a challenge for a lot of people because it helps you. It's a beautiful thing in a sense because it strengthens you in a way that helps you to discern who's right for you in your circle during these seasons and who's no longer that you will no longer tolerate. And it can be hurtful because some people you would think would be part of that isn't. But at the
Yeah,
same time, I've learned to embrace it. And I'm so grateful that I did that instead of being all upset or taking it personally. Because now I'm like, I have space for those who actually are going to love on me and support me and believe in me
yeah,
and be my cheerleader as I'm doing all the things. And I want to give that back to those people
yeah,
rather than trying to force something that with
yeah,
people that just don't get it
yeah.
or get
No,
me.
yeah, that is so powerful. I think that that is an experience that you will carry with you for life, right? And now you know, like, what
Yes.
are the kinds of people that you want in your life,
Yeah,
and that you want to be part of their lives as well.
exactly. And like I said, this journey has, oh my God, I love it. I love who I've become and who I'm becoming. So it's like, I'm just so grateful to get to meet people like you who are also on similar paths, doing all the things, creating beautiful spaces especially for moms, because I think we are the most important people in this world, and yet we're so freaking hard on ourselves. We carry too much. We have these expectations on life and ourselves and how things should or shouldn't be. And it's like, enough with that. Like, we get to matter too. Like, what we want matters too. So let's rise and let's like rise to that occasion and make it happen one
Yeah,
way or another. That's my goal. That's what I'm putting out there. And that's what I'm helping moms to do because I'm
yeah,
ready for that. I'm ready for us to start receiving even so of more than, like I said, giving is a beautiful thing. We give, but we do not allow ourselves to receive. And that's backwards. We need to allow ourselves to receive as we give.
yeah. No, I see so much of that. And the thing you said about moms, like I see it all the time and on the Nori platform that it's so hard for moms to ask for help.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, like I see more members who are willing to help, who are, saying, hey, come and find me to talk about this thing, or, I'm more than
Yeah.
happy to talk about this. And like moms are so hesitant
Yeah.
to ask for the help that they need, right? And
Yeah.
I think it's just ingrained in our culture, I think, to some extent,
Yes.
for us to feel vulnerable enough to go receive help from where we need them. The other thing you said, I think was interesting, is I recently heard you said moms are the most important people, and I recently heard from someone who said in this world there are only moms and their children,
I love
which
that.
so true, right? And they are like moms are what makes this world run,
Yeah.
essentially. And yeah, like there's no, I mean, like there's such a lack of support for mothers, especially in this country. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think we can all do more
Yeah.
to support this
Yes.
important group of people.
Exactly, exactly. And if there's if what you said earlier like resonates with anyone about the whole being afraid to ask for help, I encourage you to explore that because it is part of a conditioning, but and also part of like there's this inner shame that I feel like we were taught
Mm.
that asking makes us look weak, that not having it all together makes us look weak, that, we're supposed to just always be like perfect, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, screw that. I tell my kids all the time, like, perfection does not exist. It does not exist because it doesn't exist. I mean, no one's meant to be perfect. And actually, you know what? whew, what a relief that is, in my opinion. Because I am not like, I ain't got time for that. Like, no, I'm okay with being who I am and it letting it be. I know it's messy. I know I don't talk properly all the time or whatever, and I make mistakes. Who cares? Like at the end of the day, that's beautiful that we get to be different and unique and bring something else to the table that someone else doesn't. And I want us to just embrace that and allow ourselves to just be real and let that be okay. Let's normalize that, like of the imperfection that we
Hmm.
are all supposed to be and supposed to embrace. And so I do hope that the people in your community, if they're watching this, listening to this, that go take it up. If somebody offers to be like, I want to talk to you about this and that, or I'm willing to talk with somebody, jump on it because there's such a powerful experience, like you say, to not just get it out of yourself too and verbalize it, but to also hear someone else and see how they got through it or how they might have overcome it or what they did to learn from that experience can change so much for you in ways you just have yet to arrive at. And so, yeah, I think anyone listening to this, I just want to encourage you, check out Nori. Go check her out. And I want to learn more. I feel like I need to come and mentor to some of the mentor, but I really just enjoy having these opportunities for sure. And where can they find out more information if they want to learn about joining?
Yeah, it's asknori.com.
I'll make sure.
So it's actually there's a lot of Noris out there. I just want to make sure people are aware that it's asknori.com. And when you go on, you can, look at the browse the website, learn about the story. You can sign up for an onboarding session. I do a one-on-one onboarding session with every member who joins so that I know what they need,
Oh,
and I point
nice.
them to the right resources. And yeah, like once you join, you can, search for mentors. You can have more than one mentor. There's no limit as to how many mentoring sessions that you have. It's free, like I said. And yeah, you can join small group discussions, events, and be part of the community.
Oh,
And you are definitely welcome to join us as well.
thank you. Thank you. I mean, it really sounds beautiful. And I think so many of us moms, we need to take advantage of opportunities like this. I mean, this is a great way for me, for instance, like I work from home and I feel like I don't have and I live in a small town too, so there's not a lot of mom groups. I hope to eventually create that more in my community. It's one of the things
Mhm.
I want to work towards, but I don't really have that. And so I feel like the online space has been like everything for me. It is what's helped me to connect with the people that I meet with on a regular basis to this day. I've met friends. I mean, just getting to talk to people like you and other people around the world. It's like this is we're so blessed to
Yeah.
be in a world and to today's times where we have this, like whether you are a stay-at-home mom, whether you are whatever you're going through, like you get to in the comfort of your home now even make connections, have conversations, meet new people, and I just want people to understand how powerful that is in helping you with your journey, no matter what season you're in. I know for me, it was everything for someone in an area that didn't really have a lot of in-person opportunities. So
Mhm.
just know that like it's still just as powerful. You still you feel each other's energy even with an online talk, and that's very powerful. It's very surreal thing that even I'm still like embracing on my journey. So I'm really really grateful to you creating what you are. I know this is going to it's going to grow and flourish in such beautiful ways that has yet to happen, and I'm very excited for you and to see that. I also love to open the floor. Is there any final piece of advice for moms listening that you would like to leave with them today?
Oh, advice. I don't like giving advices, but I also don't take them. So,
Love it. I love it. It's like take it or leave it. No. Well, look at it as any final thought then that you would just like to leave from what you've been through, what you've learned that you would just love for moms to just consider.
yeah. No, I was gonna say that, there are so much information out there. There's a certain way I think we are being kind of trained or conditioned, the way that technology works, the way that social media works, that it's, I would encourage moms to go out of their comfort zone and just experiment a little more and practice that muscle of talking to people, reaching out to people, building like deeper connections with one another. I know it's hard. I know that we, like us moms, don't have a lot of time. We're like rushing from, one thing to another. We don't even have time to like take a shower or do whatever we need to do. But I think a lot of the times those kind of connections that we make with one another sometimes make and break our day. So I would really encourage moms to consider that at least as a possibility. And I think Nori is here to provide that platform, provide that space for you to practice that muscle. But it's kind of like a workout. I know it's hard to get into the workout, but once you're in it, you feel great. And I want moms to do that as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it's so true. Like there's been times that like I will be having like a very frustrating day with work stuff and things going on. And then I'll have one of these calls, for instance, like right here. And it's like it fills my cup up. It energizes me in
Yeah,
such ways that I'm like, I almost thought I've even had group calls with friends that I'm like, a part of me is almost talking to myself, should I really come? Should I join? I'm not really
yeah,
feeling it. But then I'm like, no, I'm going to go. It's a commitment I made because it's
yeah.
on my calendar and I will show up. And the next thing I know, I feel it's like I de-escalate. I release it all and then I feel amazing. I feel fired up again. And then when I leave that call, the things that I get done, even there's power in that as well. So, well, your advice is beautiful, and I do hope that you all take that to heart with you and go find your community. Join Nori. That sounds like an amazing space to be in. And I mean, you can't even beat free. Come on now, like you can at least go explore it. But I still encourage get the subscription and really support and commit to yourself to being part of something because that's also really beautiful to see. So thank you again, Jeimi, for everything you shared and everything you've done. And I just wish you all the best and the success that you deserve.
Thank you so much, Mary. And thank you for what you do as well.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe below, follow along, and always leave a comment. Tell me what was your favorite takeaway. What are some things that are coming up for you through these conversations? I really love to hear from my listeners and know that I'm always here for you. If anyone listening is ready to take action and really follow through and implement the goals that you set out for, as well as work on that mindset and really step into your full potential and the CEO of your life, then I invite you, schedule your free 1 hour limitless mom strategy call with me while they're available. And let's explore where you are, where you want to be, and how we can bridge that gap together. I can't thank you all enough for tuning in each week. Always remember, until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and keep believing in everything that is available for you, mama. You are worthy, you deserve it, and I'm so grateful to be walking this journey alongside you. Much love.